are joined by Reverend Dr. Roby Kanan-Chera, CMI Director of Charvara Cultural Centre, located in New Delhi. Thank you very much, Reverend, for joining us. Reverend, if you wouldn't mind, if you could go through how much of a significant day this is for the Catholic Church and for the billion Catholics worldwide.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you, Reverend.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. We are really shocked. The entire Catholic world is really shocked to listen the sad demise of Pope Francis, one of the most humane and one of the most famous Pope in the history of Catholic Church. And it's said that he died Monday at his residence in the Vatican Casa Santa Marta, according to the statement from the Vatican. Pope Francis was one of the most, as I said, popular popes in decades and a towering figure on the world stage, addressing not just Catholics, but the men and women of our time. And he was an ambassador of peace and harmony. He always promoted dialogue, interreligious dialogue with other religions, cultures, ethnic diversities, and all. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Yes. Since Catholic Church is giving always importance to dialogue with other religions, and it was very much given importance to this area by Pope Francis this time. And today we were planning to celebrate the Easter celebration as a faith festival of all Christians in the world in Delhi, with CBCI and Charvara Culture Center. Catholic Bishop Conference of India was planning to organize an Easter celebration with all 9 religions representatives. And now only we knew that the sad demise of Pope Francis. So we are just thinking of paying a tribute to Pope Francis with all 9 religions representatives. Our archbishops and bishops and all major heads of the different religions are gathering today at 5:30 in Goldacana Sacred Cathedral Church Diocesan Community Center to pay tribute to Pope Francis.
Yes. Reverend, if you wouldn't mind, obviously politically the world is going through conflict. The world is obviously going through ongoing political issues. Pope Francis was consistently advocated for the rights of migrants and refugees. How important was it to have a figure like that at the head of the Catholic Church?
Exactly. Our Pope Francis has to say so because he is the head of the Catholic Church in this world. Because Catholic Church always embraces this downtrodden and neglected, and always giving importance to the charitable activities, and all through the thousands and thousands of charitable organizations, education institutions, hospitals in the world, Catholic Church is doing the same thing. So being the head of the Catholic Church, he has no other word.
Yes, Reverend.
Yeah, because that influenced the entire world. But he's always with people, those who were underprivileged and those who were afflicted, those who were the victims of the wars in any place. And he was so much worried about those victims of the war, and not only that, this religious fanaticism also in certain part of the world, when his own people, he was so sad when his own people, especially Christians, were brutally killed by the fanatics, religious fanatics in different part of the world. he was so sad. But even though he was speaking for the people, not of any particular religion, but as human beings, as his own brothers and sisters. When they were suffering, he was always with them, and his sound was a loud sound, and it was a sound of the conscience of the entire world, the human conscience. It was a sound, it became the sound of the human conscience. Wherever people were afflicted, wherever people were suffering, he was always there to speak for them.
Yes. And Reverend, we know that he criticised policies that prioritised national interests over human dignity, urging leaders to resist far-driven isolationism and instead to foster inclusive communities. He was outspoken against crises like the Palestinian crisis, the Palestinian and Gaza issue. Obviously, these people were not just Christians that he was defending. How important is it that Pope Francis, how important of a figure is it to lead the Catholic Church?
See, that's a relevant question. And we all Catholics are worried of the people wherever they suffer. The entire Catholic world should be with them. That's a priority of the Catholic Church. But Pope Francis was going ahead, and he was moving ahead, speaking exclusively for Palestinians, and many a time that made the differences of opinions also, even among Catholic Church also. So we need to understand one thing, that being a Catholic, the head of the Catholic hierarchy in the entire world, Pope Francis has to speak for people, those who are afflicted, those who are wounded in any part of the world, because they are human beings, because they are brothers and sisters of his own people, his own people. That is the great concern. He always propagated the message that everyone in this world is the children of the same Father, and we are brothers. He always gave importance to the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of human beings, whether they are Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Parsis, Zoroastrians, Baha'is, Jews, or Buddhists, or Jains, whoever it be. He was embracing everyone together. That's why he has initiated dialogue with Muslims, went to Saudi Arabia 2-3 times and had a treaty with the emperor there, and that influenced the entire world to continue the great mission of dialoguing, because he had strong conviction in his own faith and traditions. He was a strong believer in Christ, being the Pope, be the head of the Catholic Church. Since he has strong conviction in his own faith and traditions, strong conviction in Jesus as the Son of God, as God, he could embrace the other, because they were different, they were holding different faith. He would accept, appreciate, and celebrate the other.
Yes.
Because he knows that they believed in another religion. They have so many varieties of faith in the world, different faith. Because he strongly believes that peace begins when we start celebrating the other. Peace begins when we start celebrating the other. That's why he was embracing everyone. He was celebrating the humanity.
Yes.
If you say in one word, the entire life of Pope Francis is a celebration of humanity, celebration of compassion, celebration of kindness, brotherhood, forgiveness. He was an ambassador of forgiveness and compassion. He always propagated the forgiving love of Christ, all-embracing love of Christ.
Reverend, some would say that Pope Francis modernised parts of the Catholic Church. He famously said, "Who am I to judge?" when talking about LGBTQ plus members. What challenges did Pope Francis face in balancing these traditional church doctrines with calls for modernisation?
See, my dear, he was speaking for everyone. As I said, he was a human being, and he always stood for humanity, whether they are man or woman or neutral gender, they are human beings. His only concern was that he has to accept everyone, and he has never accepted gay marriage. He has never said that gay marriage is acceptable because Catholic Church cannot accept gay marriage.
Okay.
Because marriage, according to Catholic Church, is a relationship, a bondage, a covenant between a man and a woman. So it cannot be a covenant between two men or two women. So
Okay.
the entire Catholic Church was always for the wedding or marriage with man and woman, not for gay marriage. So he was also not for gay marriage. He was also not propagating the LGBTs, that level of conviction. But only he was saying that we have to accept them as human beings.
Yes.
They're human beings. That humanity was glorified through his concepts.
Yes. And obviously, a new selection process will be happening soon. So how might Pope Francis's emphasis on inclusivity and humility influence the selection of his successor?
Yeah, that's a great process. And it's for us Catholics, especially Christians, and for Catholics, selecting our new Pope is a great process. We have a system for that, and all world is praying for getting a Pope appropriate of the time. And of course, the concepts of Pope Francis, especially his all-inclusive nature, his encyclicals always propagated the concept that include everyone, exclude none. That, and we must be always moving with the compassionate heart of Jesus Christ. So all these concepts will influence, of course, in a prayerful manner, selecting our new Pope. Because in Vatican, after the holy burial of Pope Francis, after this holy burial of Pope Francis, the entire Vatican will think about that. The process will begin, and we have to select a new Pope within 2-3 weeks. And this process has a judicial status, and Vatican is always for that.
We come in with some news. Tributes are pouring in now. A great man has left us, says Italy's Meloni about the Pope's death. French President Emmanuel Macron paid homage